This is Valley News Live at noon.
It's another hot afternoon, and later we could see more storms brewing for the valley. Some of us are just now cleaning up from storms that moved through in the morning. This is a live look right now in the metro, downtown Fargo, way over in the corner there. But look at all these clouds we have right here. Yeah, really clouding up right now in the Fargo-Moorhead area. But take a look at some of the damage that was done in Cavalier County in Sarles. This massive tree was uprooted after some early morning storms. There was a thunderstorm warning in the region, and we are still watching out for storms throughout the day today, so we want to check on over with Summer Schnellbach on this first alert weather day. Good afternoon, Summer.
Good afternoon, Jordan. Yes, some folks were definitely woken up by Mother Nature this morning as those storms started in the wee morning hours and even continued through parts of the later morning hours. So our first alert weather day does continue with that additional chance for some strong and severe storms to redevelop through this afternoon. Again, bringing large hail, damaging wind, isolated tornado threats, along with heavy rain, potentially training thunderstorms, meaning one after the other after another, in a very small area that could lead to some flash flooding. Here's what we're looking at right now. We have had some stronger storms in Roseau area moving up into Lake of the Woods, but those are exiting. Meanwhile, you see this wrap around big low pressure system, most of it right now in Canada, but it will be wrapping around and bringing additional strong and severe thunderstorm chances across the Red River Valley. It's another warm afternoon, especially off to the east, but that low pressure is bringing in some cooler air and some windier conditions, helping to dry us out a little bit, so we're not quite as humid heading into our afternoon. Your Fargo planner, you can see those kind of ripples in the clouds. That's the atmosphere saying, hey, I'm a little bit unsettled. So that is a visual reminder that we're still dealing with a lot of instability. And so, Jordan, coming up, I'll time out the chances for those thunderstorms through this afternoon, when we can expect them to wrap up, and what kind of hazards we might be dealing with throughout the rest of our day.
Mother Nature giving us some signs with those clouds to watch out, huh?
Yeah, kind of cool.
All right, yeah, Summer, thank you. We have a quick reminder for drivers. 30th Avenue South in Moorhead is shut down between 34th Street and 41st and a half Streets for some road work. The work is expected to last about 2 weeks. Jury selection is underway in the trial of Steve Bannon. He's the White House strategist to former President Donald Trump. Bannon is facing criminal contempt of Congress charges after refusing to comply with the subpoena issued by the House Select Committee to investigate the January 6 Capitol insurrection. Each of the two counts carries up to 1 year behind bars. Over a week ago, Bannon notified the committee that he was now willing to testify. His lawyer said the decision came after former President Trump said that he would waive his claim of executive privilege. Another trial is also happening now. It's for the Parkland school shooter, Nicholas Cruz. Family members of the victims arrived at a Florida courthouse to hear opening statements in the sentencing trial for Cruz, who shot and killed 17 people and wounded 17 others at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in 2018. Jurors must now decide whether he is sentenced to death or gets life in prison without parole. The Parkland shooting is the deadliest to reach trial in U.S. history. Former Minneapolis police officer Thomas Lane will be sentenced Thursday morning on federal civil rights violations in George Floyd's death. In February, Lane and two other officers, J. Alexander King and To Tao, were found guilty of depriving Floyd of his constitutional rights to be free from a police officer's deliberate indifference to his serious medical needs. Floyd was restrained by former officer Derek Chauvin, who is now doing time for Floyd's murder. Lane has also pleaded guilty to state charges of aiding and abetting manslaughter, but he has not been sentenced in that case. King and Tao are still awaiting for their trial to start, which has now been postponed until January of 2023. The Great Plains Food Bank in Fargo is struggling with keeping food on their shelves. High inflation, lack of donations, and higher food assistance needs are a part of the problem. The Great Plains Food Bank held a press conference today to talk about the challenges they have been facing. Communications manager Jared Slindy says they expect 1 million fewer pounds of food to distribute to those in need.
We're having a little bit more difficult time getting food donated right now. There's a higher demand on the food industry, so therefore they might have less to donate from the grocery stores, from the retailers, manufacturers.
They also expect that $2.2 million is needed to purchase food. That's double what they needed last year. Police are calling it tragedy for everyone involved. A 16-year-old girl is facing manslaughter charges for allegedly smothering her 3-year-old sister to keep her quiet. It happened last Friday at a hotel in Altamonte Springs. An arrest report says the teen was watching her little sister in the living room while their mother worked from the bedroom. The girl told detectives that her mother told her to keep the 3-year-old quiet while she was on the phone. She then left the room and later returned carrying the unresponsive toddler. The little girl was pronounced dead at the hospital. Uber has settled a multi-million-dollar lawsuit that alleged the rideshare company overcharged customers with disabilities. Uber will compensate over 65,000 users who were charged discriminatory fees due to a disability. The lawsuit points to the ride-sharing company's wait time fee. The suit claims that those who use wheelchairs and walkers were charged extra for the time that it took them to load and unload their mobility aid. And that violates the Americans with Disabilities Act. The House of Representatives is planning to vote today to codify same-sex marriage into law. The vote, which is expected to pass the House, would establish legal protections for marriage between same-sex couples nationwide. However, it's unclear if it can get through the Senate. The vote comes as many civil rights activists fear the Supreme Court could rescind more rights after the recent overturn of Roe v. Wade. Coming up here at noon, drinking alone. A new report shows the troubling trend that increased during the pandemic. Plus, we are staying hot and we could see more storms. Right now, cloudy in the metro, though. Summer Schnellbach has your first alert forecast.